Hello, everybody. My name's Hayden Parker. I've got about 30 odd years of radio experience and media experience. It taught me one really important thing: speaking to people and getting to know people and listening to people. That's the other thing. It's all about networking. Radio is network, because you never know, somebody you meet one day might end up the CEO the next day. If you're nice to people, there's always a job here for you. For me, the illusion of radio, it's the only media you can give your full attention to while doing other tasks. So if you're washing the dishes, cooking, cleaning, change the baby's nappy, driving, there's no other media out there that is like radio. Through your voice, you can create a world of imagination to your listener, always singular. In a 2024 study, it was revealed that 50.8 million people in the UK listen to the radio. But radio is such a passion of the people in the UK. Who's listening? This is the thing for when you're presenting on shows, because who's presenting here? So, the most important thing is who's listening. Which gender are they? Because there's loads of genders now. You need to be able to put something very general. Which age? Could be anybody from like 5, 6 years old, all the way up to 95, 100. So it's trying to be able to cater for everybody. Where do they listen? You get Koast being played in the doctor's surgery, in factories, in a taxi, you get in there. So one size doesn't fit all with radio. You could be the only voice that person hears for weeks. And it's a sad state of affairs, but it's true. And you're the only connection to them. So, why are they listening? This can be the tricky part. They're music lovers. Do we have any music lovers here? People who are really passionate about their music. So people with the interest in local community as well. Played in in company premises. So who here has heard Koast at the doctor's surgery? Everybody heard Koast? Yeah? Staying relevant. We're proud of the area, which should reflect in the content that we all provide. So, using local verified websites such as the Chronicle, Northumberland Gazette and BBC News for the latest news. Because if you don't, and it's hearsay or rumour, boy, that's got major repercussions for people. Any exclusives you can get, amazing, but cite your source, because you've got to. Or you don't necessarily need to cite it on air, but as long as you keep a record of that, so that in years to come, or weeks to come, if things weren't to be found true or whatever, you can actually go, here we go, got the recording, got the person I spoke to, got the email from whichever department that I emailed to get an FOI, for example, just to cover your backs. Radio is a one-way conversation. Make them feel special and always thank them for listening at the end of your show. Local and regional, this is now where Koast has such an opportunity. With the demise of independent local radio stations and the constant cuts to BBC local output, this is the perfect opportunity for Koast to fill the gap in the market. We cover South East Northumberland, so keeping the listener informed with the latest news in the region gives us an edge over our competitors. Oh, we've got some breaking news, everybody. Hits Radio National Breakfast Show is airing on the former Metro and TFM frequencies in the North East this week, whilst Steve and Karen are on holiday. Instead of the region's only local show on the station, one show for a station, listeners are getting the established weekday Hits Radio breakfast show with Fleur East, James and Matt from London. What's going on there? Local radio is dead. This is where Koast can come into their own. DAB, this gives us a fully digital signal which will cover a much larger area and provide the best quality of sound. Song titles, so if you've got something that comes up on the computer and it's like, oh, spelt a bit dodgy, it will come up on people's displays. And any messages that we wish to display, which can also help as well if there is a situation like flooding. Promoting Koast, your job as a presenter. Social media and word of mouth are the best ways to promote the station and yourself. It's free. Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Even put it on your Tinder and Grindr. It doesn't matter, it really doesn't. Because so much media now is visual that we can even do face-to-face videos with people. So we concentrate on the audio, but visual. So content is everything. So all those people who used to listen to radio, I'm going to talk about some classic names here. Ken Bruce, Popmaster and Tracks of My Years, 10:30, the best content ever. People would stop work, lorry drivers will stop to listen and schedule their day around Popmaster. Simon Mayo, the most famous thing he does, Confessions. Alan Robson, Night Owls. Simon Bates, Our Tune and the Golden Hour. Steve Wright, The King, Factoid, yeah, Zoo Format, originating from New York, amazing. So you had all these great presenters, but it was their content that you remember, them as well, but the content they delivered. And this is where this comes in. Planning your show, the radio clock. Has anybody seen a radio clock before? Where timings and keeping things where they are. We are creatures of habit, so take advantage of that and use your radio clock. Just print one up. There's plenty out there to go for it. 60 minutes goes really quickly. Having features at set times give a familiarity and expectation to the audience. They know what's coming up next. You used to know that with Chris Evans in the morning, if you weren't past the church when he started a certain feature, you were late. That's as silly as it is, but oh my God, he's doing this. Oh, we should be up there. We know, and this is why this is so important to keep your timings exact. Think about your opening song as well. Making an impact with a powerful top of the hour song. What else is getting played during your show? That's the trouble with it. It's all about the flow of the music and going up and down tempos. You can go up and down tempos. It's not a problem, but anything that's a bit out there, it can affect the listener. My big bugbear is making sure the news is on time. Big songs which will set the tone. These mean nothing to you, but if you listen back to it, you can actually go, wow. And this is where radio is so important, because you had, again, it's creating pictures with the mind. Content, what else apart from news and shows? If we can do car stickers at some point, the reg number. Put your reg number and you get end of month £100. Not impossible to do. Get that sponsored by whoever, different company each month. If we spot your car sticker out there, Facebook group, WhatsApp group, anything there that you can say, could you just please promote this? If you could get somebody, Hollywood star Bill Murray, if you could just get him on Zoom or whatever, or on the phone, it would be amazing. Features as well. So, again, going back to basics, to appeal to a wide range of people. Cooking, because doing foodie reviews, this is how it's made. Go to the Facebook, we're going to share the recipe on here. Gardening, new films, TV shows, talk about other things as well. Big rules on the radio. Number one, never crash the vocal. If there's a song playing, whatever you do, don't crash it. Say less if you need to. But if you start talking over the beginning of the song, it's going to upset the listener, because they'll probably like that song. Take time to listen to an intro of a song and work out how many seconds you have to speak. Rule number 2, never cut off a song. If you cut off a song, it shows poor time management and can annoy a listener, especially if it's a favourite of theirs. For example, ELO, Mr. Blue Sky. My top tip, if you ever have 2 minutes, because 2 minutes is a right pain in the backside. You think, well, I can't fill 2 minutes. I could try and find out, what's going on? Oh, we've got the market day, we've got this, that, and the other. If you have 2 minutes remaining, play one of these. Delamitri, Roll to Me, last 2 minutes. Sam Cooke, Wonderful World, 2 minutes. Queen, We Will Rock You, exactly 2 minutes. Those are the ones that will get you out of lots and lots of trouble. There's lots more 2-minute songs, just need to Google them. How to speak up to an intro. It's a bit of a skill, but it comes with practice. Practice makes perfect. Whenever you listen to music, experiment with simple phrases and try and time them up to the vocal. You could say something like, playing the greatest hits all day long, online, on FM and DAB. You're listening to Koast Radio. There's a radio voice coming out there. Get practicing with short intros and move on to the longer ones. And then you'll find yourself actually speeding up and being able to go, oh, actually, I'll have one that's 20 seconds long today and have a go at this. And it's just about the planning and practice. Beware of the news. Listen to what is happening and make sure you don't cause offence. Songs can be inappropriate depending on what is happening. For example, The Tramps, Disco Inferno. You hear about an orphanage that catches fire, or Bay City Rollers, you've heard about a child who's died or whatever, Bye Bye Baby. You don't want that after the news. Any John Denver or Buddy Holly after a plane crash, okay? You can't do that. Someone will always take offence. That's the thing. They might not see the link straight away, but they'll go, how dare he? And it's a genuine mistake. Jingles. I say about every 15 to 20 minutes, to be fair, because otherwise it gets too repetitive. After every ad break, straight after the adverts, absolutely. But yeah, they provide the station's identity. Personally speaking, I think Koast needs, because of going on DAB, it needs a big identity. I personally think if Koast had a proper branding on air of some really good, nice jingles, every single one can be personalised as well with people's names with the same voiceover at the beginning, that would be amazing. So there is identity for the whole station, everybody, and also as well, it makes you feel better. So, vocal exercises, warming up the vocal cords. You need to warm up your vocal cords. If it's a la 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 la, you can actually open up them vocal cords. The second you start going la la la, I do it in the car. Find the sweet spot on the microphone as well. Whilst it may be a little bit intimidating that first time, when you pick up the mic, but just to find the sweet spot, spend some time on it, trying to work out whereabouts on the mic the pickup is that sounds best for you. Keep hydrated during your show, because it's going to, after 2-3 hours of talking, no drinks over the desk, absolutely not. Smile. Do you all smile when you talk? Yes. It does. It makes such a big difference in your voice. So if you go, good morning everybody, welcome along, it's Koast Radio. Good morning everybody, this is Koast Radio. Stand up. For those who want a bit of a dynamic, fun show, stand up. The diaphragm allows your diaphragm to support the larynx, so there's less strain on your vocal cords. Also changes the sound of you. But it's that whole sort of fun, excitement, and it just gives that extra little bit of dynamism that sometimes missing. Just try it, just one show, just stand up. But a lot of these studios, especially like the ones in Capital at Leicester Square, they go up and down. Interviews, there are always people willing to self-promote, and it's about thinking outside the box as well. So, singers, authors especially, God, they're buggers. They want to sell their books. Is she one of them? Yeah, that's the thing. Authors, comedians, actors, local business owners, people with something to flog. Everybody's got something to flog. The list goes on and on. Keep up to speed what's happening locally and nationally. Who's appearing at the local venues? If I'm after an interview with Jimmy Carr, and you're after an interview with Jimmy Carr, and you're after an interview with Jimmy Carr, you can't do that. And then just be nice and just pass it round. So liaise, find out, just say, I'll do this, I'll do that. Team effort. How to contact the big names. Agents can be an unhelpful gatekeeper. Go direct, try X, Twitter, Facebook or Instagram if you see somebody there. One of my favourite techniques to do is leaving a letter at the stage door. So, very important, leaving a letter at stage door, especially if it's a long run. Press and publicity mailing lists. And it's just trying to think of names from the past that mean things to people. It's crazy how you can get a great relationship with people. So, music styles. At Koast, you're very lucky that you are in control of what is played during your show. You haven't got a playlist. You're not forced to play things that you don't want to. You have to be mindful, though, that what you like isn't necessarily to everyone's taste. If you're very passionate about a genre, apply to have a dedicated show for that. Understanding the hour of the day, the station goes from uplifting, fun and commercial in the mornings, going through to more niche in the evenings. Yeah, it's that, and knowing that in the evening it is going to become, more select, more niche, and it will have that listenership that will tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They know that that's their night. If anybody has got a mobile phone, you've got a recorder on this. Everybody with a smartphone has got a recorder. Happiness. Yeah. During daytime shows, nobody wants to hear a moaning Minnie. How many times do you listen to something and somebody bringing you down? There are two types of people in this world, I got told years ago: radiators and drains. Some people will radiate the room and they'll come in and be like, "Hi, how you doing? You good? Oh, you're looking really well," and everything. "Oh, yeah, I've been so ill, and I've been so, the gas bill's due, and did you hear about Ukraine, and did you hear about this and that train crash?" And you're like, "Thanks." And it takes you down. That is the key to it. Just smile, just be happy, talk positive on air. Try not to bring any negative things in. You can do it in a humorous kind of way, but just be mindful. Being critical, right? So, who listens to their show afterwards? Does anybody listen back to their shows? Have done? Right. You can request a copy of your show. Listen back to your links and your music choices and your features. Making notes, you'll be amazed how much you might miss. I did well on that. Oh God, that was terrible, that. Won't do that again. Make a note of it. What did you do great, and what do you think needs work? We're all here for one reason: to entertain people, to make us feel good, to make them feel good, everybody. That really helps. Being critical, listening to yourself, and just going, "Yeah, I like that. That really worked." Everybody knows about Ofcom, I hope. The broadcasting code in a nutshell. No swearing. They'll come down on you like a ton of bricks, either in person or in a song. It's best not to be political or talk about religion. End of. There's no need for it, because you're opening yourself up to a whole can of worms. It's best not to gossip about anyone, friends, or people in the public eye. And remember, each one of you, if you're on air, is liable for the fine. Not Ian, nobody. It's you. You're the one who said it. The station can get a fine, but that's the station. But it's you who said it. There are always snitches. You may think you've got away with it, but somebody out there could have it in for you. Or if you say something about a local politician or whatever. In the same way, defamation laws now. Look at all these people who've been banged up for saying things that have since proved true. And they're in jail for a good year and a half. Podcasting. Anyone can be a broadcaster. If you have a mobile phone and an idea for a series, let us know, and we can help you develop it into something that could become a global hit. Thing is, there's that many podcasts. If you want a podcast about anything, it's out there. If it hasn't been invented, make it. Over 1 million people listen to my podcast that I put out for free. If I got £1 for each one, yeah. New Zealand in particular. My second biggest listenership's in America. They don't get pantomime, but they want to, and they're realising that, hey, you're London Palladium, and you've got all these big stars, and they're making a fortune. And as I said, we should be archiving on the website all the great people that have been interviewed, so that then people can, I caught the end of that. I wish I'd heard that. Listen back online. Listen back to our interviews. So I'm sure, contractually speaking, there could be an arrangement where Koast could put out a podcast, or individuals could be guided to make their own podcast. Copyright, essentially, if it's on air on Koast, it would belong to Koast, but you as the producer would have some form of rights to that. So you would get a credit, but financially speaking, the market is flooded. Podcasting is where it is a radio show, essentially that's been clipped and available. So if you wanted no music or somebody, literally just somebody talking, because you can't have music on podcasts. Anything, you can't have music on podcasts. You can't have music. It's purely spoken word. My thing with podcasting is always have a backup. But yeah, you can use little handheld recorders, but I always back up on my phone. Use the audio recorder on my phone, pop that down there, have that, my audio recorder. Sometimes, if it's a really big person, I've recorded it on 3 things. Taken from Statista, this is how many millions you are getting now. People listening on a regular basis to podcasts every year. Went from 8.9 million up to 28.1. That's the projected for next year. So we need to be part of this, and we need to be able to do catch up. We need to be able to do things, but side shoots as well. If it's something you are passionate about, whilst you can broadcast on your show, put it on a podcast. Take the best bits. If you would like to hear the whole podcast, if you'd like to hear the whole interview, go to the podcast. Put the link on the Facebook page, the Twitter, the whatever. Do a snippet of it, just to make people go, oh, that sounds quite good. Resources. We're coming to the end now. You've got to pull the CDs out, or if you're lucky enough to bring the vinyl in. Another website, when it's quiet, you know when you're not getting any texts, and you go, nobody's listening, nobody's interacting. There's a website called Random Request Generator. The Ofcom website, that will give you everything you can and cannot say. It's boring, but it could save your house. Books. These are called Essential Media Law. This talks about anything that you put on air with Koast. This talks about anything you may put on Facebook or Twitter. And it gives lots of case examples as well, where, for example, Katie Hopkins said something and she lost a house. Because some people will grass you up, take you down, do whatever. There's not very nice people in this world. Radio secrets as well, I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. And then listen to the old shows of other presenters on SoundCloud and YouTube. Prime example for me, I never got into the whole silly voices character thing. Listen to Kenny Everett. An absolute genius, ahead of his time, amazing. They're your resources. If in doubt, keep it out, that's what I like to say. Radio secrets, an insider's guide to presenting and producing powerful content for broadcast and podcasts, because you're never too old to learn. But this is where we're at now, and it's just a case of, if you're thinking, oh, should I? Don't. Yeah, if in doubt, just don't do it, because you're just making yourself more work, and then you will end up possibly facing repercussions, and nobody wants an Ofcom fine. You need this station, and you need to be proud of the station, but it's about polishing standards, content, research, doing your homework, and all getting together and just getting the same end goal. Right. Thank you. Thank you.